Doing well, man. Today is the day I'm most looking forward to. I mean, I guess the next day as well, but two Zerg matchups. It's the four best Europeans and also four of the best players in the world. It's gonna be awesome.
You need a mute on the shared, the guest star thing. Hub.
Yes, sir.
I think it's good.
I don't know why that starts. I guess people use that as some form of Discord. I feel like most people would just mute it.
Yeah, I mean, apparently that's part of the idea of what the stream together thing is, where it's like you don't even need to know each other on Discord. You can just call, and then you can share each other's cameras and videos or cameras and microphones from the browser. It's pretty unnecessary. Obviously, just use Discord. But yeah, great matches, an amazing PvZ, an incredible TvZ. It's going to be a really good day. We start off with Reynor versus MaxPax, a series which we maybe shouldn't have had because Reynor definitely got back into some games yesterday against Hero that he maybe shouldn't have done. So exciting though, because I feel like Reynor definitely brings that early game presence that can definitely be scary for someone like MaxPax.
Yeah, I mean, historically, Reynor has done quite well against MaxPax. In particular, I think he's beaten him a lot of matches in a row until recently where MaxPax has beaten him. But even in this very tournament, I believe Reynor beat MaxPax in the group stage. And yeah, he did it so with just very good early games. Both games he won, actually. He won with a Zergling run by towards MaxPax's third base, where MaxPax left with the same timing of Adepts and Oracles in both games, and then he lost his entire mineral line to a Zergling run by. And then he died later on in the mid game. So I don't think Reynor is going to have that easy of a time this time around, because I'm pretty sure MaxPax will adjust towards that timing, and I already saw that he changed up his build order where he's playing it a bit more safely. So I don't think Reynor is going to get such easy wins again. But still, Reynor historically likes to play against MaxPax, and Reynor struggles more with Hero, the player that he just beat.
It's an interesting little dynamic, and it'll be fun to see then what MaxPax can do against Reynor today. Going to open with the Stargate. We know MaxPax will mix these builds up a fair bit. He's been Archon dropping, he's been obviously doing the Blink and +1. We're expecting to maybe mix Glaives in at some point of the series, so definitely a PvZ. Would you say this is maybe a PvZ meta that is maybe at its most varied it's been in a long time? I know we talked about like Oracles being a little bit less interesting early game, but is the depth of strategy, do you think, like more viable than ever before?
I think the depth of the strategy in terms of Stargate follow-ups is always the same pretty much, like you can do whatever you want. I think the varieties went down a little bit because Protoss players simply stopped playing Twilight, which I'm not entirely sure why, because it's not that much worse. It's not... I mean, just because of the super battery, you're not gonna all of a sudden lose the games with a Twilight, and the Twilight hits a bit harder because the Queens are more expensive. As we see Reynor run buying 4 links, getting 1 worker, one probe in the main base. MaxPax also loses some mining time and shades in with a Adept on the other side of the map. Gets 2 workers there. No, one run and a Zergling, sorry. That's a good trade for MaxPax.
Yep, not a bad start at all, as the Adept gets in, a little bit of damage done. Link speed about to finish up the Queen, Lings, drones, all building up from Reynor, and yeah, we get out with his Adept defense, so even going to bring that home. That's an amazing little starting point, so one Adept doing a lot of work, and now the Oracle comes across full of energy off that energy overcharge, which I guess is the reason most Protoss players would tell you why they're not playing Twilight, is because energy overcharge is just too good to not get an Oracle out early.
Yeah, MaxPax forgot a pylon. He just wanted to start a second Oracle after Twilight, and he instantly cancelled it because he doesn't have a pylon on the way. He still doesn't have a pylon on the way. It's very important he gets the Nexus down, and he doesn't. He's super supply blocked. He's supply blocked for the first warp in as well. Does he not realize?
He's just not doing anything. Like, he's going to come build the Nexus. He's still not building a pylon. Man, this is, like you say, a massive supply block. He's going to miss over 2 warp-in cycles from this, and if he wanted to do anything with the Adept Glaives, well, I feel like we're at the point of cancelling Glaives, because he's going to hit with like 4 Adepts at this rate.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great. At the very least, I think he will unsupply block once these 2 gateways finish. Approximately, so I think he's going to miss about 3 Adepts from the actual attack. Sometimes this type of stuff can still work, and sometimes it even works because of that, because as a Zerg player, you look at it and you're like, okay, this is the time of Glaives has passed, let me make drones, and then the Glaive Adept attack hits like a minute too late, and it works because of that. That is not the norm though. Also, it is very obvious for good Zerg players that Glaives is a high possibility, that there's a high possibility of Glaives if there's only a single Oracle. because what else happened with the extra gas? There's no second Oracle, so either it has to be a Twilight follow-up or second Stargate and you know, some other form of tech. Most of the time it's exactly this. It's gonna be Glaives, and Reynor already has the Roach Warren in time to deal with this.
Yeah, Roach Warren up, and the Adepts, well, just about ready to venture across the map if they want to go. The Lings are actually already coming across to see what they can do. They're going to spot the Glaives right now. And so Reynor knows, and he goes fully into unit production. Already had some Roaches started, 6 of them on the way. The Lair's going to finish as well. Something you can afford with the Stargate having come up already. And then we just see more Roaches in production. Just now it's about splitting your units and just not letting these Adepts find one position where maybe everything could kind of go wrong if they get let in. And the Adepts are going to get towards a natural that's only got a couple of Roaches and Lings on it, so not a bad shade from MaxPax. He's got to try to do something. Going to end up fighting some Roaches, other Roaches showing up, get some drones as well.
Yeah, good focus fire there by MaxPax with the Adepts. He's now going to split them up. And Reynor is not responding to this properly. He tried to wall, he made like 4 Evo Chambers at once, but he messed up the Roachborn positioning, so it was almost impossible to finish that wall. 11 workers already went down, a lot of lost mining time as well, and this Adept attack that I don't think had any business being that successful ends up being exactly that, very successful, as 15 drones went down. 4 Adepts are still out here. I think they're going to cancel the Shade, yep.
Wow. Very successful attack from MaxPax. 15 drones dead. Reynor having to hold down the drone key for the foreseeable future, and yeah, this is just brutal because now the Oracle is going to come in. It's going to get some more kills too. 1 Queen only, and that's just going to mean that the Oracle gets, what, 5 more kills? So Oracle alone has 16 kills across drones and Lings, so having a great time. The Adepts even killing Lava on the 4th base. A disastrous start for Reynor at the start of this series.
Yes. It really all came down to him having mispositioned the Roach Warren. I think you should always put the Roach Warren up against the wall, and then it makes it easier to wall. I mean, Reynor is not a beginner, but in case you're watching this and you're wondering how exactly can he misposition the Roach Warren, if you put it up against the wall, you can't misposition it. But he left like 1 tile gap to the top of it, which is already impossible to wall, because then you need 2 Evo Chambers behind it to wall. And then at the bottom, he left 4 tiles, which also, it's like you could try to wall it with 2 spores, but realistically the Adepts can just kill that. So yeah, just bad wall of costing Reynor there.
Heavy cost, and now the Stalkers start to arrive. MaxPax has been good behind this, getting into Blink, keeping his warpins going, and the Stalker count is already looking extremely scary. He can back away to a Stasis Ward if he needs to, although right now, not sure how much he necessarily needs to. These Stalkers keep blinking back, going to turn back around onto a Queen. That Queen is going to fall. Just going to step forward again as the Ravagers take damage. Lings are going to fire up some more shots as well, and the Stalker's still taking some corrosive vials. I mean, honestly, good trades all along for MaxPax, because this is just free unit kills. I mean, he's going to lose a couple of Stalkers, yes, but generally the efficiency is there, and he's still yet to utilize any of these Stasis Wards.
Yeah, the one thing I would like to see from him is just a revelation on the creep there. He missed the most forward tumor. The moment the creep disappears here, it will make it even easier for him to micro his Stalkers, and I mean, against Roach Ravager, theoretically, none of the Stalkers should die. There's no potential for surrounds, there's no huge burst damage. It's just Roaches firing at Stalkers, which really is... It's good for the Stalkers as long as the numbers are right.
You see the 2 Adepts going to head to the top left-hand side. A drone has to pull away from that, and Stalkers just going to have to keep pulling back as well. A couple more blinks away as MaxPax will hold position. Reynor is doing nothing but holding down Roaches off of 65 drones. His economy's not there. MaxPax is going to safely get to Storm Charge. You know, all the tech that will continue to just aid him in the future, while Reynor has to sit on this lower economy setup with purely Roaches pretty much, and just not really have that much to work with, even starting to lose a Ravager as the Stalkers get forward for the one.
Yeah, good stuff there from MaxPax. Reynor is starting burrow and burrow movement. I don't mind it, like it's a good way to try and come back into this, but he's just gonna keep losing units, and it will almost always be for free. MaxPax is good at microing the Stalkers. You might lose another one, yeah, didn't blink that one back. But I mean, if you're looking at the Stalkers, how many of them die? Usually, like every 3rd poke you lose a Stalker or so. But most of the times the Stalkers shoot, they actually kill something. Even if it's just Zerglings or Roach here and there, this type of stuff adds up quickly, so... I mean, all of these trades simply just favor MaxPax.
Now he's running a little bit supply blocked as well. Has to be on Overlords, just another little pain in the side. As MaxPax even going to build up a Prism, so he's going to have that as an option with charge done, obviously. I mean, a Prism into the main base right now feels deadly because Reynor has to focus so much on just defending at the front. Having to pull back into the main to deal with the Warp Prism and Zealots doesn't exactly seem like it's something he can deal with right now. Walking into multiple stasis wards. Nearly walked into a final one as well, but he sees it with the Overseer. Corrosive piles it down. And there's a Roach counterattack that's taking some attention from MaxPax and pulling him to the side. But as he turns that away, like I say, that Prism is setting up for a main base that is completely undefended.
Yeah, I mean, Reynor is fully all in. He stopped at 66 workers. He's just messing Roach Ravager. He's now taking a couple of extra gases. He's just hoping that his opponent is going to walk into Corrosive Bites, basically. So this is similar to the situation that we saw on El Dorado between, I believe it was Hero, maybe? No, it was MaxPax against Cyril, where Cyril was just messing Ravagers, trying to contain the Protoss and trying to hit a lot of Corrosive Bites. But the moment the Zealots come in, as you said, now Reynor needs to turn around, and that also means that he can't continuously fire the Corrosive Bites towards the Protoss army.
Yeah, no real opportunity here as a couple of Roaches get shot down. The lane's still running through. The Zealots continue to put their work in. And this is looking as though we're going to have GG's being called. MaxPax is going to take the opening game here against Reynor in this lower bracket. Well, easy mistake to fix, although we probably unlikely to see Adepts back-to-back here from MaxPax as well. Heading into game number 2 in the bottom left-hand side. Our blue Zerg player is Reynor from Basilisk.
And his opponent in the top right, representing Storm Gaming, it is MaxPax. Alright, so Amygdala was the map where we saw the massive late game. Honestly, a sick game between MaxPax and Cyril yesterday. It started off with a relatively even mid-game. And MaxPax forced the late game pretty much. He was always active on the map. And I think he gave himself a pretty good advantage into the late game, where he traded well, cost effectively. I think he was 10k resource lost up, and he had one more base than Cyril, and then Cyril did Cyril things and never lost the fight again, and won the game in a very close finish, while both players were almost mined out on this map. Since then, MaxPax has actually asked me for some advice on late game, and I wonder if he's gonna try to play late game again, because I think this map is quite good for late game actually, for Protoss. I think this map in general is good for Protoss, but also specifically for late game, so I hope to see what Reynor brings to the table, to be honest, because I think MaxPax should just be looking to play normal most of the time.
Yeah, I don't think MaxPax has any reason to kind of go and do anything too crazy or out of the ordinary, right? I just think he is going to be very happy playing a pretty, just like you say, kind of somewhat standard game. So, yeah, maybe we do... I mean, I fully expect Reynor to throw some aggression into this series and to be the aggressor, mix it up, go fighting across the other side. So, really expecting that at some point. But question just will be, when does that come through? And for then, now we will just wait and see. I mean, didn't get much of a chance last time because already it was Glaives coming your way. Obviously, maybe you know, all in against that to some extent, but he kind of died. So,
yeah. Yeah, back-to-back, no scout, by the way, from MaxPax, so he's playing it very economic. I fully expect him to go for a block next game around. Reynor is the one Zerg that doesn't shy away from those early pulls against Protoss, which these early pulls feel very bad if your opponent scouts at all. However, one game that he won yesterday against Hero was with an early pull that didn't deal any damage, so... I mean, that was a crazy game overall, and he probably shouldn't have won it, but... He did end up winning, so I think it's ballsy from MaxPax to go for a no scout twice in a row. I like it.
With the Chrono Boost out of that Oracle, bring that onto the field as the first Adept will look for some damage. It did very well last time. Shares into this natural. There's already a couple of lings there. Plus the Queen, we're going to decide that is not worth it. And so we back off, and nothing will come of that for the moment.
This time around, he didn't forget the extra pylon, by the way. It's already on the way, so no supply rock at 46. We have to remember that happened as well. His third base was delayed. The start wasn't all that good for MaxPax. It was mostly Reynor's mistakes that ended up costing Reynor and letting MaxPax back into that match. as MaxPax
Yes.
actually preferred the earlier third Nexus, and he even makes an extra pylon before the second Oracle, which is very uncommon. I think this means it's going to be the Icon drop. So the mana build, the very quick third base, then it's going to be a Robo, a Twilight, and it's going to be the quick Icon drop.
Alright, well, we've seen that working well for MaxPax across a few different series, including some success against Serral, so get set up to get that Archon drop. It gives you a lot of map control, it gives you some fighting power, and it gives you that Prism to do a lot of microing with throughout. If you kind of do get all in as well, you have that Prism already, you have Robo access, so you have Archons out early too, so a lot of potential. Is there anything that the Archon drop is specifically, not great against?
I think quick 6 gas is the best against the Icon drop, so it is best against stuff like this. +1 melee, quick Hydras is quite good against. Against just Roaches, getting up 6 gas early and then either Roach Ravager all in or maybe even Spire, I think are the two best options and that come to my mind, as well as Swarm Host. Like all the stuff that quick 6 gas enables you to do, together with Roaches, should be good against this. Whereas all the heavy Link styles, where you don't take any extra gases, are bad against this. Chad also asked why does he make the Robo first if he wants to Icon drop. That is actually because the Templar Archives builds way quicker than a Dark Shrine. Like a Dark Shrine takes almost twice as long, I think, as a Templar Archive. So if you want to Icon drop with DTs, you would always start with the Twilight first. But if you go for the Templar Archives, you need to go with the Robo initially. And you can see that the Warp Prism times out perfectly with Templar Archives being done. And on this map, you can also warp them in super safely in the middle of the map, unless the Zerg already killed the rocks.
Yeah, it's something you don't usually get to see, right? The free warping, because sometimes the Zerg will try and deny that for some defense. And again, a couple of Archons in the charge continue to come up. Observer coming through, Gate in the Forge coming online. We'll see the Prism heading down the bottom, and we will have MaxPax looking for some harassment here over these next few moments. Going to start by hitting the hatchery, and yeah, just going to step forward. I mean, Overlords to be taken and so on, so he'll step through, and Overlord start fighting some Queens. Only Ling's out right now, so this is where you can trade very well. That's the problem with +1 melee. Things do not exactly do great against Archons.
Yeah, as long as you have enough Queens, it's fine, because then the Warp Prism needs to go back. I think MaxPax overstayed. With the Archons, he needs to pick up the Archons. Okay, he doesn't. He loses one Archon, so... I mean, yeah, it's... Theoretically, the Archons are pretty good against Zerglings, but the Queens can try to focus fire the Warp Prism. That means the Archons will kite for as long as possible, and then they need to always be picked up. Even if they could theoretically fight still against the Zerglings, the Queens force the Warp Prism to pick up the Archons. MaxPax missed that timing, and because of that he lost an Archon. He's also supply blocked with his Immortal production, which isn't great. So not the cleanest execution so far from MaxPax, and good defense, I think, all things considered for Reynor.
Well, now we have the Hydro Den popping, just going to be seeing the +1. Storm charge coming up, a couple high tempers coming through. We have our Lings coming across the map. There's Oracle going to be here trying to deny, but I think these Lings going to have the damage to get a cancel, so we'll delay the fourth base a little bit. And obviously now, Reynor being able to be out on the map is very nice. There's only one Archon, a little bit less threatening on the other side, and that's not doing too much, as the Lings will once again come back to try threaten again, but there's going to be units in position this time. Well, he's actually going to fight those units. Oracle shows up though.
Yeah, those Zealots don't have +1 yet, so they trade super poorly against the +1 melee Lings. +1 enables the Zealots to two-shot Zerglings, obviously, and +1 melee just means the Zerglings will trade that much better against the Zealots that don't two-shot them, so... right now, any Zerglings against Zealots trades until that +1 is done should really favor Reynor.
Mortals, High Templars gathering up. Again, the Lings, and so just going to be on the way out. So the Hydra's also coming in. Obviously, with Storm already out, we have a lot of stuff from MaxPax that really goes a long way to helping against the army composition of Reynor right now. And Storm specifically going to be great, as the Immortal count also looking good here. Do you think there's not enough buffer? I feel like we could do with like an extra couple rounds of Zealots right now, because this army is all tech and no kind of buffer at the front, but we also can see the counterattack on the bottom with some Zealots to pull some units away.
Yeah, I think going on creep with that army is really scary. He does have some Zealots now, but as long as he just stands behind the gold base and denies its mining, I think this army is completely fine to do what it's set up to do. And honestly, this army is starting to look really, really scary. Reynor has not found a place to morph any Archons yet. He does have a surround set up, but I'm not even sure he wins the fight with that surround. There's so many storms here. He definitely used energy recharge on one of these High Templars. I mean, he still has like 4 more storms. Where that came from, and he still has the War Prism alive as well. The supplies are evening up. Reynor really needs to get these lurkers out. If MaxPax had perfect vision right now, he would press the issue because these lurkers have just started to morph, but he's still playing it cautiously.
Yep. I feel like it's just going to be popping. Let's get them burrowed up. Some Zealots already breaking through to the natural. The gold base will go down. That's obviously going to be an issue for Reynor if MaxPax then gets towards any other base, because, you know, now he's at the point of really needing to keep a 4th base alive. We have MaxPax just sitting atop this ramp, and is this amount of lurkers going to be enough to scare MaxPax from attacking in? Because I feel like 3 lurkers seems fairly engageable. Going to drop the Revelation on 2 of the 3 lurkers. He's going to start committing. The extra lurkers not here yet. Storms to help him commit on through. He's got an Observer as well. The lurkers fall. The new lurkers are in the natural, so we could step to the right, or we can just step back again here. As this first wave, I felt like was okay for MaxPax, especially the fact that he's just keeping the lurker count low has a lot to do with this, right?
Yes, that one Hydra is the MVP. If Reynor wins this game, it will only be due to this one Hydra on the right that sniped the 1 HP War Prism with its dying breath. There's no more Zealots. The Zealots are reinforcing right now, so Zergling Hydra should be decent at clearing this up. The Lurkers burrowing forward instantly get tracked by the Immortals though, and Reynor taps out as MaxPax takes a pretty convincing... Yeah, I think anyone that's left here has a decent chance at winning this tournament.
Alright, so we have in the bottom right a must-win game, and he's 12 pooling it up. It's Reynor, and he's going to 12 pool to try and throw his opponent off. Is this just because MaxPax has no scout a couple times? He wants to take advantage if he does it again?
Yes. In the bottom left we have MaxPax, who so far hasn't tried to block. If I'm MaxPax, this is so obvious that I'm gonna Gateway Scout. But I'm not sure if I'm not sure that he will. Okay, Gateway, no Scout. Okay, so this should be a free win.
Yep.
I need to check if my bets are already closed. I'm ending submissions. There's one guy that got in a 20k bet right before I ended the submissions. Because this game is... I mean, it is practically over. There's not much you can do as Protoss in this situation. If MaxPax somehow gets... I don't know, whispers from God that there is a 12 pull on the way and he randomly goes out to scout now, maybe there's a chance, but... Like, realistically, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that ain't happening. We're even going to pull the drones just to make sure that this is as over as it can be. And we are going to speed run through this game 3, it would seem, as... I mean, just no information, no attempt to wall off. Probe still not moving out onto the map or anything. We are extremely, extremely troubled here as MaxPax will drop down the Cyber Core, pull the probe away so he still doesn't have anything else to wall with, and you just target down that pylon and you have enough to always win against the probes.
Yeah. It also would have been over without the drones, by the way. As
yes, because
it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you kill the pylon and it's over. Quite simple, actually.
Yep, well, this is MaxPax just being a little bit too greedy. You're just going no scout and expecting Reynor. I mean, I felt like it was the perfect time to actually scout from MaxPax. You got away with it twice. You're up 2-0. Let's play a little bit of safety. Don't let the guy... I mean, maybe you think he's 0-2 down. He wouldn't try something like this, but it's obviously going to work perfectly here as all these probes are dying. And they're just going to retarget the pylon. GG's. It's a quick game 3, and Reynor gets on the scoreboard.
He does good.
Well, let's see. As in the bottom left-hand side is going to be our Blue Zerg player, Reynor, to get back on this series, and let's see if he can do it. He's gonna go 12 pull again.
Well, and in the top right we have MaxPax, who went for the scout right away.
Yep. Instant scout. 3 pylon scout.
This time I let the bets run, because this is actually, I feel like, not that bad of a... That doesn't mean that MaxPax has the game won already, you know?
It's a disadvantage from Reynor, but it's not a game over. Yeah. Yeah, the no scout versus the 12 pool really is game over, but scouting a 12 pool, not quite the same. The drone comes down to pretend it wanted a hatchery. MaxPax is going to chill here a little bit longer. He doesn't want to get faked out by it, turning back around. Of course, Reynor has no intention to build a hatchery just yet. Now the probe will move towards the main base. Very important that this drone does build the hatchery on the natural, right? Eventually, if you end up early pooling, the last thing you want is to build a hatch on the third as well.
I think it's on the other side of the map, Wardy. I think it will be on the other side of the map.
Yeah, it's going. Wandering across.
So MaxPax is going 2 gate, which is good against this. He needs to make sure that the hatch doesn't get down. Okay, the hatch goes down behind the wall. That's honestly not too bad.
Yep. Because one of the bigger issues is if you get your wall off blocked, then the hatchery can always allow the lings in, and then you're playing without a wall. That really complicates things a lot further.
Mm-hmm. He will pull some extra workers here, which is interesting. I think Reynor is just gonna make drones and hatcheries. The moment he scouts the hatch on the other side of the map, I think he can pull the probes back if he wants to be honest.
He's gonna pull some probes at the front with the Zealot. He wants to fight these lings off a little bit. Next Zealot gonna be ready soon. We'll see with the second gateway finishing, we can even start Adept production. This does give you the 2 Zealots and 2 Adepts to go across the map with once the hatchery's cleaned up, so that is some attacking power that will force potentially more units out of Reynor as well. So keep that in mind as a follow-up here, as obviously we do not want to lose this gateway. Gonna put the probes back onto the hatchery. Didn't really feel like we needed the extra probes to help protect the Zealot that we had. So maybe a little bit of lost opportunity there, as now we will just finish this hatch up and go from there, as the Adept will hold the wall, and obviously can hit these lings, hits his own pylon accidentally, but not a big deal.
Alright, the hatch is being finished. I think what you should have done as Protoss there is build a battery in time so it finishes when the hatch, after the hatch will finish, and you can cancel it if the hatch gets cancelled. Because now that might be a little bit annoying, especially if the Queen manages to pop out. He'll already lose 1 worker here. And these probes did not do a whole lot, I'm not gonna lie. They lowered the HP of the hatchery. He actually shaded out with the Adepts, which means now the Zerglings are gonna get in as well. This is quite sloppy from MaxPax. I don't think this is supposed to happen.
Oh, he's mismanaging it. It felt like this was completely controlled, and it feels like he's making it way more complicated than it ever really needed to be. A couple more lings going down, the Queen pulls away. We're just going to be seeing the Adepts are going to go shading as well as the Queen goes and sits at the front. That's going to get taken down, so no chance to get Group Teamer down or anything, but this hatchery is still very much so here. Now having to pull probes to help fight these Zerglings. Good micro, the lings will go down. The Broodlings pop out, they're going to chase for a Zealot, they shouldn't get it. But, we can finally, well, I guess we have to deal with these couple of lings that are spawning, but other than that, we can finally start to go across the map. But this is taking forever. MaxPax has so much money banked up, he needs creep to dissipate here. Just disaster.
Yeah, that was not good. Another thing MaxPax could have done there is he could have blocked in the larva, because I'm pretty sure that was a single pylon would have blocked the Zerglings from ever going to the main. That would have also simplified the situation. It's also fine if you pull probes, but then it needs to be a number of probes that kills the hatchery, you know? Not, like, bringing the hatchery to orange HP just loses you mining time and doesn't do a whole lot of else. Of other things. And now he needs to watch out with his attack. Honestly, I favor Reynor's position now.
Well, yeah, we're going to see the lings getting this around on those 2 Zealots. There's 3 Adepts here. They're going to threaten the shade into the main base, but they're going to cancel that as well. They turn around. MaxPax Stargate is about to complete as he just now started the Nexus, and yeah, just, I mean, this really was just mishandled from MaxPax on the other side. Felt like he had all the tools he needed to get a clean defense off, and now, like you say, I think Reynor is absolutely stepping up in this game.
Speed is on the way, his Zergling numbers are really good. He will scout at its Void Ray first. Yeah, he saw it already. So he also knows that he doesn't need spores. I would love to see a 3rd base. Honestly, I would have preferred the 3rd base before the extra Queen. But his work account is surpassing MaxPax's work account way earlier into the game, from where the Zerg usually surpasses the Protoss. The only thing that MaxPax is going for him is that the speed is super late and he has a lot of Adepts out. But the moment that speed is done, Reynor should, like, it's even scary for MaxPax to be on the map. The moment that speed is done, because he doesn't have Oracles above these Adepts right now.
Yeah, it's just the Adepts, so they are going to step up and see what they can do. They've got about 30 seconds of speed finishing, so they'll try and press forwards. There's going to be a Queen in some trouble here. We're going to get that shot off. We can commit to this shade if we want to risk it. Not going to. He might just try and find a cancel on the 3rd hatch, which he should get because, well, the Void Ray is here as well. He can pop the Prismatic, and that's a bit more DPS, so 3rd hatchery is going to be in trouble. The Lings will attempt to come across. I mean, we are not far from getting that Ling speed up. Dep's got to decide what they're going to do. They're going to shade into the natural, which is now undefended, but Link Speed is about to finish. So this is where the Adepts will have a tougher time, although they are currently in at least a little bit of a choke point. We did not end up getting that third hatchery, by the way, but we will kill one queen. We're actually going to go for a second queen now. That means the Void Ray gets to sit here and continue to deal damage, if nothing else, to this hatchery. It's going to end up being pretty low. But with the Oracle now overhead, the Lings are at least losing a few more of their numbers in attempting to clean up these Adepts, which will eventually happen, just like we say, a little bit slowly.
Yeah, there's no support in natural, which is an issue for Reynor. There's no support in the main either. This Oracle would just win the game.
Oh no. Yeah, queens have died, and there's just no saving these drones right now. So that worker lead that we were talking about has just gone, and that will do it. As MaxPax is going to find a exciting close to the series, I guess, in the end.